Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Jonathan, and today's podcast title, we're going to be talking about how Daniel and I lost more than $50,000 in less than 12 months. Yeah, it's a crazy story, and I hope you're here to watch it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back again to the Quarantine Marketing Podcast. My name is Jonathan, and I'm super excited to be here with you guys today to discuss about this entire story. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, go ahead, click the link below, subscribe. Yes, I know we're asking you early, but just why not, right? So let's talk about how Daniel and I lost $50,000. In less than 12 months and the lessons that we learned from it. And not only that, we're also going to be talking about what you can learn from it too, and how you can avoid the same mistakes that we did. For me personally, if you were to ask me, are you upset that you lost $50,000? Absolutely. But I'm also not upset simultaneously, and here's why. You see, a lot of people look at failure as a big problem, and failure is not a bad problem. It's actually a really good problem. It actually provides opportunity for you to be better at what you want to do. And to take the next steps to mastering your skill. And because of that, I now know how to pretty much run better campaigns and not lose $50,000. So that was a big eye opener for me. So anyways, let's get into the story, right? So the brand name, which is still up on Instagram, by the way, it's called Boston Wants It All. You can also find it on Facebook. And the whole idea of this was to start a movement in the city of Boston. And so one day, I was at the office. We have an office in the city. And we were walking in. I was walking into the office. And the moment I opened the door, before you know it, my partner, business partner Daniel goes, "Jonathan, I have a really amazing idea." I'm like, "Well, how do you too?" And I was like, "Well, what's the idea, D?" And that's what I call him. That's his nickname. I was like, "D, what's the idea?" And he goes, "Listen, let's start a fan page in the city of Boston." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Well, let's build a sports brand. It's something that we know, and it's something that a lot of people in Boston love. People love the Boston Red Sox, the Celtics, the Patriots, the Boston Bruins. And in the past 10 years alone, we've run several championships. This was last year in 2019. On ESPN, I actually did a quote on us, not specifically on Boston Wants It All, but for Boston sports. It is the most hated sports city in the world. I mean, can you blame us? We're the best of the best. But anyways, the point was we strategized and we decided to put it together. So what we did was we figured out, okay, well, what sports are doing good right now? Well, pretty much we didn't know much, and we said all of them. So we ran some ads for the Celtics, we ran some ads for the Patriots, we ran some ads for the Red Sox and Bruins. And there was a lot of engagement. We were running a video views campaign. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's just a campaign pretty much for video. It's optimizing for video watching, as if like it was a YouTube type of thing. And what we would do, we'd post on our wall, highlights of last night's games and stuff, and we would actually go viral. Sometimes we'd get, 70,000 views or whatever it was every now and then. It wasn't for every post, but we were getting there. Along with the social traffic that we were bringing in, the advertising campaign that we're putting out, it was pretty much close to $1,000 per week. Yeah, I know. So with that being said, we decided to test out both social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram, and we ran ads on both. And what we've realized was that Facebook was not doing so hot. It wasn't optimizing the way we actually wanted it to optimize. And unfortunately, because of that, well, it just wasn't working out. So we decided to, fully focus on Instagram, because Instagram was bringing a lot more followers. We're getting a lot more bang for our buck. Now, does that mean that Facebook does not work? The answer to that is no. Facebook does work. But I, as the marketer, I took full responsibility for this. I was not doing it correctly. So there's no such thing as, a platform not working or working. They work. It's just, how are you utilizing it? That's what you need to know. And that's what I didn't realize at this time. And it was my first time running a brand new product. So we started focusing on Instagram. So we started with the funnel strategy. And what the strategy was, is like, look, at the end of the day, we want to make some money. We want to make some profit, right? So how should we run this funnel? typically the way most marketers would do it, and this is where I changed my funnel strategy now, by the way, but typically you would run a branding campaign or a video campaign, getting people to get familiarized with their brand. Because obviously, the whole idea is, no one's going to buy right away from you if they don't know you. And that's true. However, the methodologies behind it is not always necessarily true. I realize that you don't need 10,000 videos, if they watch this video, selling this video. If they watch this video, sell another video. You see, you don't need that kind of funnel strategy. As a matter of fact, all you really need is a sales page. And I teach, and I'm very successful at creating a sales page. And although we're not going to be talking about the sales page and what it does for you during this episode, we will talk about it later on. But just for the sakes of, staying on track with this video here, let's go back. So we had like at least 20 different funnels. And then there millions of views, 1 million views, 2 million views on some, going viral, so forth and so on. Hell, we even had famous people follow us, like one of the Gronkowski brothers follow us, Brian Scalabrine, a Celtics great, and many other people as well too started following us and commenting and messaging us, hey, I love this page, we're doing great. So, with that being said, we realized on some of the campaigns that we're running, such as the Red Sox campaign, they were not optimizing as well. And we couldn't really understand why until we figured out that the Red Sox last year kept on losing. So we realized that even though we're pushing money towards that campaign and optimizing it, we were not listening to the market. We weren't closely looking at the numbers, what the numbers were telling us. Even though we had a 7 relevance score, and all our campaigns usually have a 10 relevance score and a high engagement. But particularly for the Red Sox, we were pretty darn low, and we could not figure out why. And it was until we realized after $50,000 later, whoa, the reason why we weren't successful was because we weren't successful in the market, right? We weren't listening. We were looking at the comments, how people were saying the Red Sox stunk and all that stuff, so forth and so on. So we turned off the campaigns, and then we pushed out the more campaigns that had the more engagement, which was the Celtics and the Patriots at the time. Also, was the Boston Bruins. They had a lot of engagement. The Bruins at the time were in the playoffs. Come on, Tom Brady, obviously, we love Tom Brady. Boston loves Tom Brady. It's the Patriots. It's Tom Brady. We don't need a further explanation. And then Boston Bruins, of course, won the playoffs. So they lost to the, I actually don't remember who they lost to, actually. So the point was, then, after that season, we had about 5,000 followers. We have a lot of engagement. We're going viral every now and then. We decided to finally monetize. We were asking ourselves, well, how can we finally start making money? And we decided to build a little mini website, and it was all about, we had these little bottles, Boston Wants It All bottles. And, they're great bottles. You guys can check out the website if you like. Just go ahead, click on the link on the Boston Wants It All Instagram bio. You'll see what this bottle is all about. But it was great to, carry your tea around you. It was double insulated. It had a little tea filter thing where you could, put some herbs in there and pour, whatever over it. Actually, it was doing pretty good. We've gotten some buys off of it, but for the amount of money that we spent, we actually were not selling what we wanted to sell. We weren't selling at that level that we wanted to sell. Even though we got some sales in, we were not equaling out the ROI. We were still in the loss. We were not profiting from all the money that we spent. So that was one of the main problems. That was the first main problem. So after that, we realized, okay, well, maybe people don't want bottles. So we partnered up with a basketball company that does basketball trainings. And we said, you know what? We have a lot of basketball fans here. We're looking at our data, and we see that there's a lot of people that love the game of basketball. They rage about it. That's the post that's actually getting the most, virility at that time. So we started running basketball training programs to our fan page. And we were retargeting anyone that watched specifically the Celtics videos. We had a huge audience of 1 million people. But the problem with that was, yes, we were making some sales, but again, it wasn't sales to the max that we have, right? So what was the problem? You see, the problem wasn't that we were able to build a brand. The brand worked out. The problem was we didn't know how to properly monetize. And we didn't position ourselves in a way to monetize. And that's where I realized where I messed up, in a nutshell. And because of that, here's what I've learned. even though you're building a brand, you also still have to build a connection that would want to make someone to buy your product. And we did not do that after spending $50,000. Now, if we decide to rerun that, there's a million different things I would change. So that was one thing, right? The second thing we realized where we messed up is we didn't want to, even though we were starting to pick up on our sales, we were worried that we would actually be in trouble with the Celtics, the Red Sox, the Bruins, and the Patriots. Why? Well, essentially, they own those players. They own the rights to those players. And if they see that we begin monetizing on that platform, well, chances are there is a possibility where they could sue us. And we don't want to be in that position. We don't have multi-millions like the Kraft family right now to handle the amount of lawsuit that could come our way. Even though the internet right now is still a little bit, there's not really internet laws. But if anything were to happen in the near future, that would come to full effect. So why did we? So we realized that we needed to stop immediately until we started getting more verified accounts following us from the Boston area. And as we saw that, we called our lawyer. We're talking about, hey, we want to make sure that, we're doing everything correctly. And he advised us on some things. And we decided that it's a very gray area and it's not something that we're willing to risk. And we didn't want to put our company in financial debt in that route. So that was the second thing. So 2 things you can take out of this lesson. 1, don't mess with the Bulldogs. And if you do, make sure that you are clear on exactly how you're doing it. There is a way where you could still do it properly. But of course, I'm not a lawyer. I would consult with a media lawyer. And you'll probably find those lawyers most likely in New York and in California. And if you guys need someone, let me know. I can refer you to somebody. The second thing is listening to the market. It is important that you listen to the market, and we did not listen to the market. What are your customers saying? What is the data telling you? What is the surrounding you? I was not focused on that. I was focused on, how can we make these videos better? How can we get more engagement? And of course, we optimized great. We had engaging videos. People were raving. The better the video, the better the quality. We had more views. We had more virility. But the thing is, no one was buying. And we didn't look at those numbers. There's a key performing indicators. I call them KPIs. And with the KPIs, you need to focus on the highest ranking KPI. And the first one, obviously, is ROI. We weren't making any ROI. We were not getting any leads. We did get some leads, but it wasn't to the extent that we wanted to. The cost per lead was too high. The cost per acquisition was way too high. So I was not focusing on those numbers. I was focusing on video views and the virility. And that's great for building a brand, but it's not great if you want to make money. Okay, so that's the things that we did not focus on. So next time you're on your social media account, when you want the type of metrics that you want to look at are these 4 metrics. If you're running ads on Facebook, it's link click-through rate. And the link click-through rate should be above, 1%. We were well over that, obviously, because, it's us. It's me. I know what I'm doing when it comes to getting people to turn a click into an ad. But your link click-through rate should be over 1%. Where ours is at 2-3%. That's mostly like unheard of, right? The next thing you want to look at is your cost per lead. How much does it cost for you to get a new email subscriber or a new sell or a new opt-in, right? And it doesn't have to be related to the sports world, to branding. These metrics are related to anything. Then you have to know what your cost per acquisition is, right? How much does it cost to acquire a new customer? And then the lifetime value of that customer. How long will they stay? Is it a one-time fee? Is it a recurring fee? These things you got to know. You got to know your numbers. And obviously, last but not least, which is the most important one, is what's your return on investment? Are you getting a 1 to 2, or are you getting a 1 to 3? If you're putting $1 in, are you getting $3 back? If you're putting $1 in, are you getting $1 back? Are you equal? We were not looking at those metrics, and I take full blame for that. But because of that, I'm a lot better than I am now. So please, if you learn anything from this video, well, take my advice and make sure you know your numbers. Well, if you don't, you're a goner. And that's all I got to tell you. So I hope you enjoyed this story, and I hope that you actually took the lessons in the story to fully understand, why we lost $50,000 and what metrics you should be looking at. closely to make sure that you don't put yourself in that situation. And you need to have a proof of concept. And what a proof of concept is this, right? I'm gonna leave you guys with this. Before you start running ads on social media, you need to make sure, you need to test the market first. See if the market would buy your product. Have 3 people at least buy a product. And if they do, you have a proof of concept. Because if you don't have a proof of concept and you run your ads on social media, well, things can go downhill for you very fast. And that's exactly what happened to us. Typically, we usually have a proof of concept because we're taking on clients for like, medical niches or lawyer niches or, tax accounting niches. We look at those numbers, but we figured for a brand, it should be easy. No, it's the same type of formula. And if you're interested in that formula, well, just reach out to us and then we'll have a topic on that. All right. Other than that, you guys, thank you so much for watching the podcast. I'll see you next week.